computer. All right. So we are definitely recording this session. So the first question I want to address was how do I scale into a trade? So let's go ahead and talk about that. So the very first thing I do is I look at the monthly. I look at the monthly. We're looking at US 30 right now. First thing I ask myself is what direction is the market going? So this is the monthly. Every one of these candles, okay? Every one of these candles are 30 days, 31 days in duration. So what month are we in now? We're in the month of August, right? So right now, this candle shows the month of August. Okay, so I'm gonna open this up. So I normally just draw on the monthly to see, okay, what's going on. But I also read the candles to see what's going on as well. So the first thing I see here, on the left side, we had an uptrend, right? Okay, then we hit a top, and on the right side, we see a high. We see that the market hit a high at 36,971, so 36,971, right? But where's the low? The low is down here, 18,211. So, there's a lot of room between the two. We see an uptrend looking at on the left side of the chart. Then it hit a peak, right? It hit a peak at the high. Then it started trending downward a little bit, right? But remember what I taught you guys, the very first thing you want to put on the chart is I don't do support and resistance levels because I read the book called The Naked Forex, and it talks about reading the chart nakedly without putting anything on top of the chart. And then you put stuff on top of the chart, right? As far as your indicators, as far as, things that'll help you analyze the chart. So the very first thing it teaches is how to read the chart with a naked eye, right? Just read the chart with nothing on it. So I see an uptrend over here, and then I'm going to find out where my first structure level is. So if this is an uptrend and it's starting to go down, because here was a downtrend, right? It started to move downward. But when I look at the left side is telling me that this blue candle right here was one of the levels where the market started to go retrace back down and then went back up, right? So this is the very first level here. So what I want to do is put a structure level right underneath that particular candle, right? I want to make sure that I know where it is, that if the market comes back down to these levels and breaks this level, it's going to go down. Okay, so, but look what happened. Look what happened. It actually touched that level, right? It touched that level and bounced off it. Why did it bounce off? Well, look at this candle right here. This candle right here is what we call a doji, right? This doji, although we were going down, is telling us that there's going to be a reversal in this downtrend, right? How do we know this? Because we read the Candlestick Bible. We know that in the Candlestick Bible that whenever you see a doji, right, in the midst of a trend, there's a reversal that's about to happen. And look what happened. It actually came down to this line, right? Didn't break below it, although it did peak. Put in his face above it, but it didn't close below it. It touched it and started reversing. Look at that, right? So now we thought we were in a downtrend, but we're not. It's going to continue its uptrend based on what we see right here. So the very first thing I'm asking is, okay, what trend am I in? Okay, well, now it looks like I'm back into an uptrend because these two candles pushed higher, right? So that's the very first thing. Okay, monthly is done. I finished analyzing the monthly with the one simple little line, which I'm calling my structure line, right? So if anything violates the structure line, it's going to go below. If any candle closes below this line, it's going to continue its downtrend. Okay, but I'm watching it, right? All right. So now I want to scale down to the weekly to see if the uptrend is what it is, right? Because we noticed that there was a reversal because there was a doji, right? Okay, and we see a couple of dojis in this trend here. See, downtrend doji. So it definitely gave you a clue. Okay, then the hammer went down. Okay, bullish engulfing right here. This candle is bigger than that candle. Please study your candlestick Bible because a lot of the stuff is in there. And then it went down with another hammer or a shooting star. Then another bullish engulfing here. This candle's bigger than this candle. And look what happened. It started to trend upward. Okay, so far, if I wanted to put a trend line, I could put a trend line here or arrow and point it from here up. I see is an uptrend, right? It's trying to scale up. All right, so that's the weekly. Now the daily. Look at that. Trend line is consistent. Okay, I put a line there and everything is bouncing off that line. It'll touch it, bounce higher, touch it, bounce higher. So my monthly is it's in agreement with the weekly, it's in agreement with the daily. So far, so good. All right. So let's open this up. Let's see what's going on. Get a glimpse of what's going on. And look at that. Uptrend right here. Bam. Okay. All right. All right. Now, going down to the 4-hour, same thing exists. Look at this. This is like a channel now, right? It's all of a sudden it's a channel. You could put it another arrow or duplicate arrow. Take this. Wait, let me delete this arrow. We'll copy this arrow. We'll do a clone of this arrow, right? A clone. Right? And then take this arrow and put it right above. Because now we're in a channel, right? We're in a channel. So this is what the market's telling us. Boom, it's going up, down, up, consolidate, up, down, right? Consolidate, down, up, down. So we're creating lower lows, higher highs. These are higher highs, higher high. Okay. So we're in a channel. We know that you know the market staying within these two lines, right? But yet it's trending upward, right? So everything is in agreement, the monthly, the weekly, the daily. Okay. Now we're in the 4-hour. Let's look at the 1-hour. Same thing's going on. So, we want to stay within this channel. Rule number 1, do not trade against the channel. Do not trade against the trend. We're looking for buys because this is an uptrend. We're looking for a buy. So now we need to find out where on the 15-minute can I enter. I can look at the 15-minute, I can look at the 5-minute to see where can I enter, right? Where's my entry? I need to know where my entry is. Just like, if, you're going on a trip, you plan your trip, you get on the highway, what highway you take, that's your entry. Get on highway, blah, 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 right? But what's your destination? Your destination is your trip. Your destination is, where you're going. Your destination could be a few miles away. So you want to look at your map. You want to strategize and say, okay, if this happens, I could take an alternate route. If this happens, I'm plugged into news and, see what's going on. Is there any accidents ahead? I got my Google Maps going on and so on and so forth. So you're planning out your journey, right? You're planning it out. You already know your exit. It could be a few miles away, a few stops away. You want to make sure you can get off at that exit, right? But we now we need to know where we want to enter into this trade. So we know we want to enter when there's a retracement. What do I mean by that? We want to enter this because it's going up. We want to make sure we enter on a pullback, 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 Okay, we want to wait for a pullback before we enter the trade. We don't want to enter the trade when it's pulling up. That's you don't want to do that. You see all this right here? You don't get in when it's pulling up. You wait for the pullbacks, which is the red. Okay, so we got to wait for a pullback. So looking at this chart, okay, we can see that, you know, it hit the high. Look at the high. The number is 33771. So there's a good opportunity that there might be a pullback here because it kept going up, right? The buyers and sellers, buyers kept buying it. Okay, the sellers are looking to sell it. So this might be a good opportunity to get in for a sell for them, but we're not getting in for a sell. Why? Because we know it's an uptrend. So we want to wait for a pullback, right? We want to wait for a pullback. But what do we see if we scale in and we look closer at the top of this trend right here? We see a couple of things. Number one, we see this right here. This could be a doji, right? So it's getting close and telling us that there's going to shortly be a pullback. These two candles look almost the same. So this could be like a tweezer top. If you read your candlestick Bible, look, see what a tweezer top is. Whenever you see a tweezer top and there's a candle that's red or blue, right? The one next to it is blue. So when you see a red candle or a blue candle next to a white candle or a gray candle, that means there's a reversal. So if this candle was white, it's still going up, but this candle is blue, which is signifying a bearish candle. So when you have a tweezer top that looks almost exactly the same, and the outside candle is a color of the direction of a bearish market or downward trend, you want to prepare yourself because it's going to start going down. So here's an indication. This is an indication. So now we just got to wait. And this is an indication because it started opening up and it closed bluish, which is, down, right? So I would wait before getting into this trade. I would wait for this candle to do what it do, right? It may go down and you can always chart it up. Okay, and mark up your chart with some tools, right? Because here, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right? So it may go down, up, down, and this is all hypothetical because we don't know the future, right? This is where if it does this and it gets to this candle right here, remember the structured candle that I showed you on the monthly? Okay, it may come to this level right here, right? It come to this level right here, bounce off this level, and continue to go up. And this is where you want to enter the trade, right around here. You get into the trade here for the climb, for it to go back up. All right. Now, that's a hypothetical. Will it happen that way? We don't know. Okay, because this is all hasn't happened yet. But if the candle made its journey and started doing all of this stuff like I just showed you, right? And broke this structure level right here and closed below it, it'll retest that line and then continue its journey downward. And that's what you got to pay attention to. You got to pay attention to that. If it breaks that structure level, it may continue its journey downward. Okay. But knowing what we know off the monthly, the weekly, the daily, I'm anticipating that it's going to continue its climb to go upward because we're in a uptrend, a bullish market. Okay. And if you've been paying attention of the Dow, which is a correlation of the US 30, the top 30 stocks in the United States have been doing really well for the past couple of days. Okay. So with knowing that, the journey could continue to go upward based on this charting, right? And of course, you always want to set your stop losses, and you also want to set your take profits. Okay. So any questions on that? Did that help out, Shannon?
Absolutely. I am definitely zoned in on this, and it just makes more sense now to take my time and let it pull back and then make another entry, because it always seems like when it pulls back, it's always going to be a little bit higher from my initial entry.
That's it.
Is what I'm getting from it. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So that's basically how I would approach it. Because I'm not going to get in on the top. It doesn't make sense for me to do that. Because what if it does pull back down and does all of this? Because now you're in drawdown. Now you're looking at a negative number. You're in red, and you're wondering, scratching your head, like, what did I miss? Well, you know, you missed a couple of clues. You miss, you know, the tweezer top, right? You miss, this is a clue for it to go down. You miss this clue, which is a doji. Okay. You know, there's a couple of clues here. All right. There's a couple, look at all these dojis.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Yes.
All these dojis as clues.
Every time. So the second entry is usually like, why did I do that? So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Okay. So that's how I do my top-down analysis. Okay. Am I always perfect? No. Does it work 100% of the time? No. No. I mean, you may want to enter the highway, but all of a sudden, when you go to your entry on that highway, there's construction, right? All of a sudden, you reroute it to another entry, right? Because you don't know whether that entry getting on that highway is clear, right? And then you move up a little bit because there's a little detour, and now you're on the highway, right? But what's going on in the highway? Anything could happen in the highway. It could be a car accident ahead. There could be a slowdown. There could be a traffic jam. You know it. So, but you got to be prepared for all of that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay. And that's the same approach you should have with entering the market. Don't try to rush it, okay? Because this may take some time for it to pull back, right? Because sometimes we're so eager, we want to get into a trade, we have this money, we want to make this money grow, but that's where the patience come in, right? That's where the psychology of the trading comes in. That's when know thyself comes in. You got to ask yourself questions. You set the trap and let the chart fall into your trap. Okay. Because if you jump into their trap, they're going to take you for a ride. They're going to take you for a ride. And they're going to take your money, and then you're going to be like, what did I just do? Because the quicker you could make $50 is you could lose $50 that much quicker as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So now that you're going to scale in, right? You're going to scale in, you're going to wait for it to pull back, right? So where do you set your profits? Like, okay, if it pulls back below, let's say, keep this arrow here. If it pulls back below this, okay, you enter one of these two levels, okay. So now you want to set a take profit. You might want to set your take profit right above the high, right? That way you know you'll make some money above the high, right? Or you look left. Okay, you look left. Maybe on a higher time frame. Let's look left. you look left, you look at your trend line that you had put earlier. Maybe set your TP on top of that trend line. Time frame. There we go. So the next level, this is where support resistance levels come in, right? The next level of resistance, right? Where is that at? It's right here, where all the candles touched. This is a level of resistance. So you can set your TP right at the next level of resistance, if that's what you want to do. Okay. That's TP1. Your TP2 could be right here. TP1, TP2, and then TP3 is right here. Okay. So that's the journey, ladies and gentlemen. That's the journey. Take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3. So if you take one or more orders, small lot size, because this US 30 is ridiculously volatile. So you do a 0.01, okay? And then you put your stop loss below. You got to put your stop loss below. It could be at this level here. We could put a stop loss and say, hey, this is the support, right? If it goes below my support, I want out of the market. I don't want to be in this market. If it's going to reverse on me, I want out, protect your principal, so you could take another trade. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So Patrick, did that help? Is he still on? Let's see. Ah, he left us. That's okay. Hopefully he caught enough of that. But Dawn, did that help?
Oh yes, definitely. I was like, wow, it just everything I've already learned, like I'm just, forgetting about it because what you teach is so much easier. I love this. And you're right about how fast that goes.
Yeah.
It goes fast, I know. And your money, it moves like it just goes zoom, zoom, zoom. Either up or down. And,
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. You just clearly taught that.
Yes.
So
Definitely, I definitely US 30. I like to use a US 30 with the 1 minute strategy, and then scaled to the NAS 100, and then use currency pairs like GBP USD. I like GBP USD because they're slower pairs, right? They move a little slower. But yeah, you just make your predictions based on the chart. Now I'm gonna take a picture of this.
Okay.
And then so let's see what happens on Monday.
Yeah, right.
Because if it pans out the way that I just forecast, we'll see what happens. So let me take a picture of this. Quick snapshot. Save the image. And we'll take a look at it on Monday after the 9:30 open. See what happens. Hold on.
So if you make the money, if we make the money, are we going to share it as well?
It'd be nice, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a very good question.
But you guys got different currencies out there. Do you guys trade or the euro?
Yes, we trade the euro.
Okay.
Yeah.
The euro, right? Okay. Yeah, because we trade the dollar out here. But yeah, I mean, any other questions on this breakdown? That's what I do. I do that all the time.
No questions, but I've been kind of watching you trade, and I was like, well, how is he so accurate? So, I mean, I've seen you make a mistake, but how is he so accurate? Because it's just day to day. It's like I see you doing the same thing, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get that grip. So this week is my test to getting that grip. So every day I can just do the same thing over and continue to see the same thing, especially on the fallback part. Oh my
Right.
God.
Right. I mean, it's and again, it's all about timing for me, because I'll notice that it's going down right here, right? And then all of a sudden the reversals are happening, right? So looking at this chart for an uptrend, because it converted to an uptrend, where did it break structure, right? Where in this downtrend, right? And it went back up here. Where did it break structure in this whole scheme of things? All right. So me, I'd say the structure was right here, right at this particular point in time, right? Because it came down, went up, came down, right? Then it broke this right here. So this is another structure line. It broke this, and you have a bullish candle right here, right? A bullish candle right here. Didn't consolidate it. Then it dropped, right? Then it dropped. But then if you look over here, it retests these levels again, right?
Yes.
It retested the zone right here, right? And look at that. And if you guys are familiar with the breakout strategies, you would have made a box right here. Look at this. It broke the box, came back and touched it, and then the next candle shot up. That's called a breakout strategy. Okay. Which brings me to the indicator that I want to show you guys. This indicator is called trend line with breaks. Okay, so when you go to your indicator list here, look for trend line with breaks. Trend line with breaks. Put that in your notes. By LUXALGO, right? LUXALGO. That's an indicator. Over 6,227 people. 6,227 people are using this indicator. So that should tell you something. A lot of people are using it. So let me turn it on for you to show you what I'm talking about. Let me hide everything else. Let's see if it'll let me hide everything. Okay. All right. So I'm hiding all the other stuff, right? I'm going to turn it on. Okay. You see what it did here? It drew out lines, right? And each one of these lines, okay, the green line, the red line, these are breakout points. It forecasts where the breakout points are. Okay, let me give you an example. This right here, if I put a box right here, I'm gonna have to delete everything else. Hold on. If I put a box right here, right? This green line right here, right? You can look at it as a trend line, right? Because it's trending downward, right? This whole section was trending downward. Okay. But at one point, it's going to break out of that trend line. And that's exactly what it did right here with this bullish engulfing candle right here. It popped out, came back, the next candle, touched it almost. Actually, you could say it did. Touched it and bounced away from that green line. Do you see that? Do y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I get it.
Okay. So I'm going to show you. Let me stop sharing this. I'm going to show you.
It's like a pattern.
Yep. I'm going to show you. Where did I? Here it is. Okay. This was the bullish breakout. Remember the green line? So whenever you see a green line, you wait for it to break above the green line, come back and touch it and break up away from the green line for an uptrend. You see that?
That's awesome. Amazing. I love that.
Okay, so that's a bullish breakout. Okay, so let's look for another one. Okay, let's go back to the chart. Okay, so we just caught that one. Okay. There's another green line, right? Right there. There's that green line. You see it? And it even gives you a B to get ready for it. Breakout. It'll say B for
Wow.
breakout.
Cool. That's cool.
B for breakout. Because look what it did.
Wow.
You had some
Up.
you have all this. It broke out, right? Here's a green line, right? It broke out of that green line and continued to go up. And it gave you a B to let you know, get ready. Incredible stuff. When I when I came across this, I was like, what? I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe that they would just give you something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And look at that. Here's another green line. It's above it and it rolls above it.
Yeah.
There's another green line, right? Broke the green line and continue to go up. Wow. Now the same is true for the red line. If it goes below the red line, it'll go back and touch the red line and come back down. You see what it did right there?
Yeah.
Right there. This is the green line. It broke, the red line. Look at the red line. Okay, it came down and broke the red line. This candle right here went back and touched the red line, and look, it went all the way back down. Absolutely incredible. So remember, the retouches is where you want to you want to pay attention to the wicks when it retouches the line. Okay, because here is where it really broke it right here, but you want to wait for the retouch. Does that make sense? So practice with that indicator. Let me know what you guys think, because I think it's pretty cool.
Me too.
Okay, so with my top-down analysis, I don't use these lines in the beginning, but I could use it before I enter the trade, right? Because based on what I saw here, uptrend. So all we're waiting for US 30 to do on Monday is to pull back. Okay. And then you enter for an uptrend.
Yeah, like you wanted to pull back to hit that red line before it goes back up, or would it?
Well, you want to look left. Okay, you want to look left because you want to see like this right here.
Mhm.
You want to see if it'll pull back and hit this line, because this is where everybody's at right here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, because there's
Right.
a lot of touches on this line right here. You want to wait for it to pull back. You want it to come back down, hit these levels here, right? And then bounce off like this. That makes sense?
Yes.
Because the market will tend to touch where it left previously. Okay, that's why you always got to look left to see how many touches on the left side. Whenever you see a lot of touches, you draw your support resistance lines, if that's what you want to call it. Okay, because what I just drew here was your support line, right? Because this is what the market's, you know, a lot of the candles touched this line. And if you continue to stretch it out, you could tell a lot of candles were, you know, hovering around that line. So my anticipation is it'll touch it again, then bounce off, make a new high. Okay, because look right here. Right? So it looks like it's heading to get to this zone right here, because you see a lot of candles touching this line. So it looks like it wants to touch that line, maybe touch it, bounce off, come back and touch this line, bounce off and make a new higher high. But that's just speculation. It may happen, it may not happen. But if it does, you want to get in when it touches this line. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. And then you can
Write it up.
write it up for quite a bit, and that's good.
Yep.
But yeah, speculation. We could just hope that.
I mean, some people will say, but once, why don't I just get in for a sell if I know it's going to go back down? You don't want to do that, because from here to here is not that many pips. But from here to here, there's more pips you can collect, right?
Right. That's where I always made my mistakes too. It was like, I felt like I have to be in every trade, like even though it's going down or it's going to go back up, it's like I would had buys and sells. It was always equaling it out. Like, so like if I lost, you know, if I had a sell and a buy in, whatever way it went, then I would just cancel out and wind up breaking even or something. But that got so confusing and ate your money up fast.
Exactly. because you're paying a lot of money in commissions.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, and you're over trading. And when you overtrade, the brokers love that. They're like, whether she wins or loses, we're still making money because she's paying us a lot in commissions.
Yeah.
So you want to pick you want to pick a direction and stay with that direction. If you see an uptrend, stay with an uptrend. Because it doesn't make sense really to try to trade it going down because you don't know how far down it's going to go.
Right. It could
You
be
know?
a second. It could be an entire week.
Right.
Yeah.
But you set a trap. You said to yourself, okay, if it comes back down to these levels, I want to get in.
Mhm.
I want to get in.
Okay.
Because we put the channel lines in there. Remember the channel lines?
Yes.
Let's see if I can do a
They
bit more.
are.
Get back to-
Those lines are that indicator is so cool. I never saw that. That's fairly new or just something I never saw.
Yeah, it's been there for a while, and I just uncovered it myself. So let me see if I can get
It
those.
makes a lot of sense. Oh,
Okay, there it is. This is the channel. You see the channel? So we know it's in the channel,
yeah.
and then it looks like it's not breaking, breaking this channel. It'll keep bouncing up and down, up and down.
Oh, God. That's cool. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys learn something new today?
Sure did, brother.
What you got out of it, Ed? Tell me more.
Well, I had been using this one for a few weeks, but I didn't know how to use it correctly until now that you showed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's like all Greek until someone tells you how to use it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Actually, I could say it's Latin. I'd probably be able to learn Greek the faster. It's pretty cool.